The Leeds United side, I will give you, after we'll have a minute's applause. In fact, the last time we saw Bruno Guimaraes, he was with his Brazilian teammates holding a banner in support of Pelé, because of course he had been ill during the World Cup. It was after they'd beaten South Korea. I think it was in the 974 stadium, and they were the pictures that would have gone all the way around the world, as will this picture here of Bruno Guimaraes wearing the yellow shirt of Pelé, that Brazilian shirt, as he stands in the middle of the Newcastle United team, who now gather outside the centre circle. His teammates, all the exception of course of Nick Pope, all in green in their black and white striped shirts, black shorts. Leeds United in their shirts as well are gathered to the left of the centre circle, as there will now be a minute's applause, as will happen up and down Premier League grounds throughout the country, as Newcastle United now pay respects to a global superstar.
Please join us in a moment's applause to this footballing legend, which will begin and end on the referee's whistle.
There was a picture of Pelé on the giant screen in the Leeds' end away towards our left, and because of the Brazilian influence here, you can count at least 8 Brazilian flags around St James's Park. He actually once faced Newcastle United, 4th of June 1972. He scored a hat-trick for Santos in a game that was actually played in Hong Kong, and he also visited Newcastle in 2003, where he met Sir Bobby Robson, Alan Shearer and Peter Beardsley. And Pelé very much in the thoughts of Bruno Guimaraes, who has now swapped that Brazilian number 10 shirt for his number 39 in the black and white of Newcastle United.
Enjoy the game!
As Simon Hooper, our referee, gets us underway, and Newcastle defending the Gallowgate end, playing from right to left against Leeds United in their change strips, the lemon yellow with a dash of blue, and their white shorts, therefore playing from left to right. Didn't give you the Leeds United side because of that tribute to Pelé, which is Meslier in goal, Ayling, Cooper, Koch and Strauch, Aronson, Adams and Forshaw, Nonto, Rodrigo and Harrison. So they've made 3 alterations from the side that played against Manchester City. Harrison for Greenwood, Ayling for Christensen and Adams coming back from suspension for Rocker. But they face Chris Waddle, a Newcastle United side with real momentum. And in fact, Newcastle coming forward now with Willett to Joel Linton, left-hand side. Joel Linton, edge of the area, tries to play the ball back out towards Willett. And there's an indication of that momentum urged on by this crowd.
I think you've seen already in the way the game's going to go. Leeds have caught the blocks very quick. They're playing 100 mile an hour. Newcastle are pressing Leeds, but to get the ball back. Joe Linton should have went on the outside. He tried to come inside on his right foot. Should have went on the outside. He had the space and the time to push it past the full-back Ayling.
Light drizzle falling here on Tyneside. Just a word about Pelé as well on BBC Sounds. If you hadn't heard it yet, there is also a podcast, Remembering Pelé, that you can listen as a special podcast to the great man. I'm hearing of an injury scare at the Etihad. Maz Faruqi.
In the opening seconds for Erling Haaland, Ian, he went down under a challenge from Ben Godfrey, clutching his foot. We know he's been suffering with this foot injury. He's receiving treatment at the moment. Pep Guardiola looking concerned on the touchline. Nil in the early stages, but applause now as he does appear to be getting back to his feet. Manchester City 0, Everton 0.
Thanks, Maz. Not the usual Saturday service where we fly around the grounds and give you all the goals as they go in, because of course the Football League are playing their next set of fixtures tomorrow. Of course, coverage of that will be on 5 Live Sport from midday. But after the festive period, normal service will resume. But we'll keep you in touch with the rest of the games in the Premier League this afternoon. As Nonto, over on that far side to the left, cuts inside. Thought about the shot, does in fact get the right-footed shot away from 25 yards out, but he's pulled it, and it didn't pose a problem to Pope at all, and it will be a goal kick.
Well, typical Leeds, isn't it? Come out the blocks quick. They're not frightened to sit back and park the bus like many teams would. The form Newcastle's in, they've come out, they're having a go at Newcastle from the off, and as you say, he cuts inside there from the left wing, and not the best effort, high and wide into the Gallagher end.
Ball played out short by Pope to Byrne. Back to the Newcastle United goalkeeper. Rather a heavy first touch actually, and Aronson was Rodrigo was the player who was looking to try and close him down. In the end, he had to concede a throw on this near side. The Leeds United right. We welcome listeners to the BBC World Service here to St James's Park in the northeast of England. Happy New Year to you, wherever you are in the world. Always a pleasure to have your company. From the throw, Leeds United ailing to Aronson. It's still 0-0. Wolves 0, Manchester United 1, and we've got reporters at Bournemouth, Fulham and Manchester City.
Corner to Leeds there, given away by Botman. Lack of communication between him and Joe Linton, and they've got a corner out of it, Leeds.
So Leeds United in front of the Gallagher end on this near side, the right, have a corner kick. Adam Forshaw made his first Premier League start since April against Manchester City, is the short option. As it is, it's Harrison who curls it over, and in the end the referee blown his whistle anyway. It was Strauch, I think, who was trying to get on the end of it 8 yards out. He's headed it off target, and it will be a free kick to Newcastle United.
I don't get that corner there, Ian. There's two on there. Forshaw goes across to make two on the corner. No Newcastle player comes out, so give him the ball. He's got a chance to run in the penalty area with it.
Before Newcastle last faced Leeds United in January, they were second bottom with 12 points. They were 10 points behind Leeds United. Since that 1-0 win at Ellen Road, Newcastle have earned 70 points, more than almost double that of Leeds United. Eddie Howe believes that game at Ellen Road was the catalyst. It was a turning point. It came a fortnight after they'd been humbled here in the FA Cup by Cambridge United. They have gone from strength to strength. And people may say, oh, it's about the money. The money might help. They haven't actually done what Chelsea did 25 years ago, or indeed a Manchester City. Not yet, anyway. A lot of it is down to the coaching of Eddie Howe, the way that he's improved so many players, including this man, Joe Linton, who stops that ball and plays it out towards that far side. Trippier, of course, has been a real signing. True leadership in the dressing room as he's forward on that right, and he plays the ball ahead of Almiron. And Almiron has certainly revitalised of late. Slice clearance by Meslier, all in orange away towards our left-hand side. And eventually it's Strauch who hooks it clear. And then Nonto lifts it back down towards the halfway line, and Byrne tucks in the left back, will head it forward. Aronson lifts it over his head, but there is Pope to come and collect it.
You've got to give Leeds credit here, and they've come out the blocks very, very quick, and Newcastle cannot settle on the ball and start passing it yet. The Leeds are really hustling them.
Ball played forward by Trippier. Wood takes it away from Meslier, going goalwards, and then couldn't get enough on it. Right-footed, drifts behind for a goal kick.
What a chance that was. Nowhere was he. He takes it past him. He's just got to concentrate on the finish. Make sure you hit the target. He's completely mishit it. Goal kick.
How's it started at Craven Cottage? Mike Williams.
It's still Fulham 0, Southampton 0. The bottom side, Saints really yet to get out the blocks, but for the home side, Aleksandar Mitrovic has been looking lively in the early stages. He's kept his place in the team today despite that foot injury. He scored twice at the World Cup for Serbia, remember, and again at Crystal Palace on Monday, and he's looked hungry here. The home crowd really roaring him on, Rodrigo, but it remains Fulham 0, Southampton 0.
Rodrigo looking to pull the ball back. Harrison was trying to get him that run in the inside left channel. Newcastle United avert the danger, but Leeds have made a bright start here. 6.5 minutes played, and Simon Hooper says that will go out of play, and it will be a Newcastle throw. We'll go to the south coast. Bournemouth Crystal Palace. Sahel Sahi.
9 minutes played. Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 0. A quiet start from both sides. The ball spending a lot of time in the air, and there's a hopeful ball forward from Bournemouth. Solanski's run was matched by Gehi, well defended by the Crystal Palace centre half. Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 0.
Cooper downward header, matching the run of Wood, former Leeds striker. 44 goals in 88 appearances between 2015 and 2017 for Wood. Wilson is on the bench. Joelinton adjudged to a foul, Ayling, and that will be a free kick to Leeds United. 7 minutes played.
Ayling got very tight there to Joelinton, didn't he, on the throw in? But I don't think Joelinton did anything wrong. He just tried to get out. He was sort of wrapped around his leg. He's trying to free himself. Ayling falls over, and the referee buys it.
Bellier, fully recovered now from glandular fever, waiting and biding his time to take the free kick. Left-footed. Byrne just holds off Aronson, heads it away. Played forward then in the air by Koch. Headed away by Scher. As the light drizzle continues to fall here on Tyneside, Trippier plays the ball forward. Almiron, in the end, he was just crowded out by the Leeds United players on that far side, and Strout sees it back to Meslier. Rodrigo tries to spin away from Scher. Botman, though, was covering his central defensive partner. Ball played forward. Guimaraes dispossessed, actually. As now it's with Adams to fall short. Tries to play it first time forward to Nonto. Willock for Newcastle United. The home side now have it. Willock. Byrne, 10 yards short of the halfway line. Sean Longstaff. Just outside the centre circle. Scher will venture forward. Looks for the long ball through the middle. Willock's made the run. Flag stays down for the time being. Wood keeps it to Joelinton. First time shot gathered in by Meslier. Flag has stayed down as well.
What are Leeds doing? There's no pressure on the ball. 2 centre-halves here. No pressure on him at all. So he's waiting for the right run. He sees the right run, delivers the pass. Leeds high, square, with their arms up. They're not going to get that, and that's a wasted opportunity for Newcastle.
Get an update from our game in the Premiership. Rugby, Saracens, Exeter. Sarah Orchard.
It's Saracens 7, Exeter 0, 10 minutes on the clock, and the try scored by Andy Christie after a really well worked tap and go penalty by the home side. Elliot Daly is off for an HIA at the moment for the home team, but it's Saracens 7, Exeter 0.
Commentary after Sports Report tonight. Brighton against Arsenal at the Amex with Conor McNamara and Tony Pulis, as that persistent rain continues to fall here. Free kick to Leeds United, 0-0. 10 minutes played on BBC Radio 5 Live, and also available on BBC Sounds. As Forshaw on the halfway line, back towards Koch. Koch along the ground. Harrison's come into a central area there. Plays it back towards Strout. Nonto, little flick inside to Harrison. Harrison's diagonal ball infield, cut out by Scher, and that will be a Newcastle throw on that far side. Had to be a Newcastle throw. It took a clear deflection, but the referee, Simon Hooper, he's changed his mind. It wasn't due to facing the wrath of the Newcastle fans.
Oh no, of course not. But again, I look at Leeds, Ian, and they're a hard-working, very organised, disciplined side. You can see why they can upset teams, the pace they play at. But sometimes you're looking for that one player to put his foot on the ball and see the picture. They all seem to run around, 100 miles an hour, and you just think you need one player who can actually put his foot on the ball and say, look, this is what we're going to do.
Ayling's ball inside. Nonto had made the run. Might break back towards Nonto. Indeed it does. Not once but twice, and actually the second time he gets the shot, which took a deflection, and Pope was unable to keep it in play. It's gone behind for a corner kick, and there's a lot of intensity about Leeds.
Oh, Leeds, it's so quick. I mean, I don't know how they're going to maintain it for 90 minutes, I've got to say. The way they've come out the blocks, it's nice to watch. I like to see teams on the front foot, but as I said before the programme, you never see Leeds slow up and have a plan B. It's always the pace they're playing at now. They try and do that for 90 minutes and they get caught out.
That's the voice of Chris Waddle on BBC Radio 5 Live. Corner kick to Leeds in front of the Gallagate end, near side the right. As we look, Harrison's to take it, left-footed, it's an in-swinger. Pope managed to somehow get it away. Comes out to Aronson, back to Harrison. Harrison's left-footed cross, it's a dangerous ball into the penalty area, and it goes all the way through and out for a goal kick. Back to the Etihad, Mazfarouki.
Still goalless, but a couple of good early chances for Erling Haaland. Set up at a tight angle on the left by Kevin De Bruyne. Tarkowski forced into a good header as well, as another cross from De Bruyne came in from the left. City on top, but still Manchester City 0, Everton 0.
What about Fulham Southampton, Mike Williams?
Good chance for the home side. Fulham almost taking the lead. A spinning ball, edge of the box, fell towards Willian, who struck it first time. It fizzed towards the top left-hand corner, but just spun wide of the goal and hit the side netting. It's Fulham 0, Southampton 0.
Almiron makes that run on the right-hand side, keeps the ball in play, back towards Trippier, just in from the touchline, level with the penalty area. Back to Almiron it goes, and doesn't get the better of Strout, and Leeds United are able to clear, but only as far as Botman, in the heart of that Newcastle defence. Little layoff by Wood towards Willock. Willock tries to win it back. Leeds United, Adams, is desperate clearance is kept in play by Joe Linton on this near side, the left, away from Adams, plays the ball inside. Guimaraes, little flick back towards the run of Guimaraes, headed away by Koch. Newcastle's strong pressure, and then a heavy forward ball by Byrne, and it will run out of play. But there's an appreciation there of the endeavour from the Newcastle United.
Well, it's the first time we saw them actually get the time and space to put 3 or 4 passes together. Leeds so far have been settled. Newcastle have not let them get in any rhythm. They've been in the faces the first 13 minutes. It's been Leeds who've been the dominant team, but that was the first time we saw Newcastle find a little bit of space.
I have to feel for Manchester City and Leeds. They played, of course, Wednesday night, then back in action today. Their opponents have had an extra 48 hours recovery time. Such is the nature of the demands of TV over the fixture schedule, particularly over the festive period. And as a result of that, it means that there's plenty of live football to look forward to on BBC Radio 5 Live tomorrow on New Year's Day. Tottenham Aston Villa at 2, to be followed by Nottingham Forest Chelsea at 4:30, plus all the games in the Football League. And then on Monday, the Old Firm from 12:30, Rangers against Celtic. And then it will be analysed and debated on the Monday Night Club at 7. And then live football Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, before we have the FA Cup third round action next weekend, as Nonto comes under pressure from Trippier. There was a foul, says referee Simon Hooper. Free kick to Leeds United, still goalless. Back to Bournemouth, Sohail Sahi.
Yeah, still Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 0. 16 minutes played here, Ian. Crystal Palace on top in terms of possession, and they've also hit the target with a shot. Chet Decore from 20 yards out. Didn't really trouble Mark Travers. Decent save in the end, but it's still Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 0.
Foul by Harrison on Guimaraes. Leeds, who've not lost in their last 3 visits to St James's Park. They've never gone 4 without defeat in their history here at this ground. It's the 5th occasion they've had a run of 3 without defeat. That's what they've got to try and do here against a Newcastle United side that actually hasn't conceded in over 8 hours of football at home. 5 successive clean sheets since an Ivan Toney penalty. That's the other side of Newcastle United that sometimes can be overlooked.
It's hard, Ian, to win game after game after game, and you know you get the fans expect it. Everybody does, isn't it? I bet everybody today is thinking, "Oh, home to Leeds will win that comfortably." It's not working out that way at the minute. Every game's difficult in the Premier League, but I've got to say Leeds have done very, very well since the kick-off.
Well, they are looking for a 7th straight win in the Premier League, the longest sequence of any side in the top flight this season. So certainly Leeds United have got it all to do as they give away another free kick in the midfield. That was for a foul on Sean Longstaff. Quarter of an hour played, and the darkening skies in the northeast of England. 5 Live in the World Service. That rain's getting heavier as Newcastle United free kick right of the centre circle, and sending everybody forward, which Trippier is going to take. Now Leeds have gathered a good 30 yards out from Mellier's goal, and it's quite a high line. It's quite compact as well, as it's hoisted high. Little flick on, headed away by Rodrigo, and Willock will try and win it back. They'll get a throw. Newcastle take it with Willock. There's been a goal at Bournemouth going there in a moment. Guimaraes though will now come forward for Newcastle United, spreads the ball out towards Cher. Trippier on the overlap. Cher will come forward. He's scored from here before a couple of times. Instead passes the ball towards Longstaff. Out it goes now towards the right to Trippier. Fed down that right line to Almiron. Sliding across was Adams. A throw to Newcastle. Goal at Bournemouth to Sohail Sahi.
Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 1. Straight from a corner. It was very easy. Jordan Ayew 6 yards out, unmarked. Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 1.
Palace needed that after back-to-back defeats, as Bournemouth then behind. Fulham 0, Southampton 0, Manchester City 0, Everton 0, Elsewhere earlier, Wolves 0, Manchester United 1 was the result at Molineux. Brighton, Arsenal, we've got commentary to come at 5:30 here on 5 Live. 0-0 at St James's Park. Willock can't control the ball, runs underneath his foot, out for a throw for Leeds United, which Ayling will take midway through his own half. And Ayling just waiting. Not a great deal of movement for Ayling, as the Leeds United supporters make themselves heard higher away towards our left-hand side, as always have travelled in good number.
How easy to get a free kick nowadays. How easy is it? By the way, the referee, honestly, I'm sorry, but I don't like criticising referees, but I just see anybody fall over now with his free kick. I mean, literally fall over. It's ridiculous.
And that's all Ayling did, wasn't it? Just dropped to his knees and Simon Hooper gives him the free kick.
It just encourages you to do it more. You know, it's simple as that. If you're do it again, mate, do it again, you'll get a free kick.
Meslier clears long, left-footed. Ball spinning through the air. There's another one. This was Almiron, who was bundled to the floor by an equally diminutive Gnonto. In fact, Gnonto's probably 2 or 3 inches shorter. And in fact, the referee's now talking to him. I don't think it warrants a talking to. Does it? There was no malice.
I think actually, no. I think he's went over and had to go at the referee, saying, "What, you know, why you give that free kick?" So I didn't understand his frustration. Well, I think in the near future, this will be a non-contact sport. If you touch somebody, it's a free kick.
Yeah. Free kick for Newcastle United. Once again, quite a high line from the Leeds United defence, and still quite narrow too. Trippier's going to take it on that far side. Botman's up from the back, as is Cher. Leeds have everybody back. Trippier wraps his foot around it. Strout's header actually strikes his own player in Rodrigo. Falls quite kindly for Almiron on that right-hand side, and the ball goes behind, and it's a corner kick to Newcastle United. Meslier hasn't been unduly worried as yet, has he?
No, I mean, Leeds have struggled on set pieces this season, haven't they, defensively, so you can see why the free kicks have really relied on a high lane, but their corners, they can't get a high lane on this corner, so they're going to have to defend it.
Now, Trippier had the presence of mind there before taking the corner kick to see that Leeds United had sent 2 players forward, Harrison and Aronson, and he waited taking the corner kick to send Willock back and Longstaff. Corner kick now on the right from Trippier. It's an outswinger, and the downward header is just wide. It was Cher from the back. Agonisingly close. Closest certainly we've had to a goal.
I got to say, the marking there absolutely woeful. There was 2 of them queuing up at the far post, and they should have hit the target at least. But you can see my Leeds have leaked goals on set pieces this season.
Let's go back to Maz at the Etihad.
All City still goalless though. Bernardo Silva's been booked as well for diving after going down pretty easily under a challenge from Nathan Patterson just on the left of the 18-yard box. City won a free kick then in a similar area. Stones punched by Pickford as the Everton keeper cleared the ball. Still goalless, but it's all Manchester City at the moment. Manchester City 0, Everton 0.
It's also goalless between Fulham, Southampton. Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 1 is the latest score. You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live. Sports Report at 5 o'clock with Mark Chapman. And then 6:06 will follow commentary at Brighton, as Newcastle United in the wet conditions from the right-hand side now pass it across towards Byrne, who comes on the inside of Ayling. 2 Leeds players, Rodrigo and Aronson, go towards him. He passes the ball to Botman, and now it's with Cher, who's right of the 2 central defenders. And on the right-hand side, Trippier's forward ball cut out by Koch, and now Adams back in the side after his sending off, and that suspension he served against Manchester City, as Gnonto, the Italian international, will win a throw for Leeds United on that far side, the left.
They need to keep the ball up the field. They've just come off the pace late. Newcastle are getting a lot more possession, only has Leeds on the break.
Ball inside, little spin from Aronson, creating the opportunity, and he tried to reverse the ball into the bottom left-hand corner, and it was blocked. Forshaw's picked it up and then given the ball away to Joel Linton. Newcastle United had every black and white striped shirt back behind the ball. The lemon shirts of Leeds United try and win it back, as Cher, in that central defensive role, goes square to Botman, and now Guimaraes plays a forward ball to Longstaff along the ground, and Wood out towards Trippier. Almiron had made the run ahead of him. He opted to go back in field. Forshaw's there for Leeds United to Harrison, quickly closed down by Trippier, and a free kick to Leeds United awarded by the referee.
And Aronson had that chance here a couple of minutes ago outside the box, didn't he? As you say, he tried to reverse it, tried to catch the goalkeeper Hope out, but didn't strike it very well at all.
Wasn't a clean strike, as Ayling looks to get Aronson round the back of Byrne, level with the penalty area on this right-hand side. Shaven headed figure of Forshaw goes square. Now with Adams, Strout joins the attack, out towards Nonto on that far side, the left, playing from left to right. Adams back towards Strout. Midway through the first half here on BBC Radio 5 Live, 0-0. Cross comes in from the left. Byrne beats Aronson in the air with ease. Joe Linton on the edge of his area, able to control it. Guimaraes now looking to release Willock, and Willock's over the halfway line, and Willock striding forward. Only Wood is up with him. Willock to the corner of the area, goes past the challenge of Koch, and Forshaw was back, and it cannons off his knees and behind for a corner kick to Newcastle.
Well, that's where it leads. They're piling bodies forward, get caught out, and on the break again. We've saw it many times this season how Leeds don't have enough bodies behind the ball in case the breakdown. And this time they were very fortunate here. Willock did ever so well.
Trippier in front of the Leeds' end is going to take this corner kick on the Newcastle United left, which Leeds United again have left two players forward. There's been a goal at the Etihad. We're going there after the corner kick. Trippier though will take this for Newcastle United. Crowded 6-yard area. Meslier being obstructed as Trippier goes deep towards the far post. The downward header, and the shot fired back in and fired wide by Almiron, and it's gone out for a goal kick. It was Byrne who had a swish of his right foot inside the 6-yard area and couldn't connect. Led off for Leeds United, still 0-0, but their deadlock has been broken at the Etihad. Maz Faruqi.
And guess who scored it? 21st of the Premier League season for Erling Haaland. Manchester City 1, Everton 0. It was a wonderful team going from City. They set it up on the halfway line. De Bruyne, then Mahrez, then Haaland on the left-hand corner of the 18-yard box. City 1, Everton 0.
Trying the rugby at Saracens, Sarah Orchard.
Saracens 12, extra 3, 25 minutes played. A second score for Saracens. It was in the corner by Scotland international Sean Maitland, but made by a lovely kick into the area by Owen Farrell. It's Saracens 12, extra 3.
The latest scores: Bath 7, Newcastle 3, Gloucester 5, London Irish 0. That's after 25 minutes in the respective games. This is 5 Live. Willock releasing Joel Linton. Joel Linton over the halfway line. Wood going through the middle. Joel Linton then runs into Koch. Was that a foul in your eyes, Chris Waddle?
No, I think he lost the ball. I think he's run straight into him. I don't think Koch could get out of the way. So, I mean, we're just going back that last corner here. Another Leeds just cannot mark the corners. They've got probably 2 guys or maybe 3 who want to get up there and head it. The rest just don't want to be marking. Every time Newcastle get a corner or a free kick, you think trouble.
That's a series of soft free kicks, though, that we've seen in these opening 26 minutes. Certainly I didn't think there was any foul from Koch on Joel Linton. However, Newcastle United just over 30 yards out from goal, a good 15 yards in from the left touchline, playing from right to left, have been awarded this free kick, as Forshaw's going to have to change his shirt. He's coming off the field for some attention, is Forshaw at the moment. So Leeds temporarily are down to 10 men. It's still 0-0.
I don't know what the problem is.
He's got a blow to the face, so there must be blood on the shirt.
Yeah.
He's getting patched up at the moment. Trippier to take the free kick for Newcastle United. Right-footed, chips the ball in. On the stretch, Meslier makes the save.
I've got to say, and that's the last 3 set pieces, Newcastle should be 3-0 up. What are Leeds doing? You've got to mark a man. All they do is mark space. There's not one of them wants to go and attack the ball and head it. Every ball, Newcastle, every set piece, Newcastle will be thinking, get more set pieces, we'll score from every one.
It was Botman trying to get on the end of it, and there was no real power on it. Meslier, in the end, it was a comfortable save. Bare-chested Forshaw down below. They're waiting. It's like a car going into a pit stop, isn't it, with the amount of assistants that they've got trying to help him up, do his face, put a new shirt on him. There's about 6 players around Adam Forshaw. Sure, it'd be easier just let him put his own arms through his own sleeves rather than someone trying to help him. In the end, he's back on the field of play. But it's still 0-0. Oh, the modern game, Chris Waddle.
Ain't great.
Here is Guimaraes. Stepping forward there was Cooper. Leeds now with Aronson. Diagonal ball, look towards Rodrigo. There was Cher. Ball played through the middle by Wood, who just dropped into a deeper role in the centre circle to try and release Almiron. Leeds United, though, now have it with Koch. Out to Ayling on this near side. Joel Linton, though, with a telescopic right leg, wins the ball for Newcastle United. Clean challenge. Guimaraes chips the ball forward over the head of Almiron, headed away by Strauk. And then Nonto almost turned into trouble, and it will go out of play for a goal kick to Newcastle. 28 minutes played 0-0.
Yeah, I think Leeds were impressive first 20. I've got to say that work rate and tempo, but I steady and they cannot keep that up. It's not physically possible. No matter how fit you are, you can't do it. And now they are feeling the pace. And as we're getting coming up to the 30 minutes, not long off now, Newcastle are in control of this football match.
The Newcastle United side that just 2 points behind Manchester City before the referee blew his whistle. Manchester City lead Everton by a goal to 0. Crystal Palace still 1-0 up at Bournemouth. Fulham 0, Southampton 0. But Manchester United moved within a point of Newcastle after that 1-0 win at Molineux in the 12:30 game. They're starting to gather behind Newcastle for a top 4 finish, with Manchester United, Tottenham and Liverpool, who of course won last night. They are only within 5 now of Eddie Howe's side, who, it's got to be said, certainly at home in the year of 2022, Eddie Howe in his programme notes talks about a season where they've made big progress on and off the pitch. They're making progress now. Almiron right hand side couldn't get the ball into the penalty area for Longstaff, but only Liverpool and Manchester City have gained more points at home than Newcastle United in the Premier League. They've made 40 points, City 43, Liverpool 45. Tells you about the high standards that they've been setting when you're talking about the 2 standard bearers of English football in recent years. Back to Fulham, Mike Williams.
Samuel Edozie has just gone close to Southampton with the visitors' first best chance of the game. A lovely link-up play with Che Adams, 1-2 at the edge of the box, and Edozie shot straight at Bird Leno, and that was followed up briefly by El Yunusi for Southampton, whose shot just sailed over. But Southampton coming back into this. It's Fulham 0, Saints 0.
Half an hour played, 0-0 here. Free kick to Leeds United. Time to squeeze in an update from Bournemouth with Sahel.
Yeah, Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 1. Jordan Ayew with his first league goal of the season, separating the two sides. Crystal Palace, more pace and zip to their game. It's getting a little bit niggly though lately here. Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 1.
And Manchester City are still leading Everton by a goal to 0. That would be 4 successive defeats for Everton. So this free kick for Leeds United, it's a good 12 yards into the Newcastle half, and they take it short and square. And Forshaw spreads it forward towards Ayling, drops towards Ayling, heads it to the edge of the area, and on the half volley cleared away by Chris Wood. And now he without a number, Adam Forshaw with the replacement shirt, goes all the way back to Meslier. Time to pick his spot as he floats the ball out towards the left. Trippier did ever so well to beat Strauk in the air, and now it's with that live wire Almiron, who again goes down to ground and gets a free kick just outside the centre circle.
Yeah, I thought Newcastle were dominating the last 10 minutes, but Leeds are just starting to come back into it.
This is the only goalless game in the Premier League because at Craven Cottage, Mike Williams.
How fitting that as Craven Cottage, like the rest of the Premier League, pays tribute to Pelé this afternoon. The first goal here on the banks of the River Thames is scored by a Brazilian, and it's Andreas Pereira with a low shot that has beaten the Saints keeper here, Bazanu, and given the home side the lead. Fulham, they deserve this lead. They have been on top. It came from a corner, swung in, and Pereira on the edge of the box swung a boot at it, and it sailed into the back of the goal. It is Fulham 1 as Pereira drops to his knees to pay tribute to Pelé in the skies. Fulham 1, Southampton 0.
Willock chips the ball forward and Strout heads it behind, and Leeds United forced to concede the corner.
Yeah, but Leeds trying to play the way out, get to the middle of the park, lose it again. And this is a warning again. A corner, they cannot give away corners and set pieces because their defending's been dreadful from them.
Botman's up from the back. Cher is also there. Joel Linton will provide an aerial threat in addition to Byrne and Wood. And after all of that, they roll it to Almiron, right corner of the area, back to Trippier, comes out to Willock. Willock steadies himself, and in the end it's a placed effort just outside the D off his right foot that Meslier is quite comfortable at catching.
I'm sorry, Ed. I mean, our players not noticing what's going on. Every ball they put in the box on corners have nearly scored. Why take a short one? Why work one when you don't need to? Just put that ball in the box.
12 minutes to go to half-time. It's still Newcastle United 0, Leeds United 0 here at St James's Park. It's a long punt downfield by Meslier, and then Pope, who's kept the most clean sheets in the Premier League before today with 8, hurls the ball out. Newcastle attack on this near side the left, and Forshaw drops to his knees, and ironic cheers from the Newcastle crowd
about time,
because there was no free kick for a player falling to the floor awarded by referee Simon Hooper. Byrne feeds it down the left-hand side, and Koch puts it out of play. Newcastle United have a throw, level with the penalty area. Just over 10 minutes to go to half-time. Cooper does well to stab that ball away before it can reach Wood. Rodrigo holds the ball up. Forshaw lets it come across his body, runs midway through his own half and then stops and plays a reverse ball to Adams, who then was fouled. The referee now has played the advantage. Aronson goes to Harrison. Leeds United now building quite nicely through the stages of the pitch here. Aronson out towards Nonto, level with the area. Leeds looking to threaten, stopped by Trippier. Another goal at Bournemouth. Sahel Sahi.
Second for Crystal Palace. It's Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2, and another from a corner kick. Elise out of the penalty area to Eze. He was all by himself and he swept it past Mark Travers. Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2.
Fulham 1, Southampton 0, Manchester City 1, Everton 0, 0-0 here. Joel Linton held up because the ball wouldn't travel with him. Came to a standstill in the centre circle of his own half. Willock, though, will make progress on the left-hand side as Adams has to curb that run and the ball goes out of play for a Newcastle United throw. That Byrne gives to Willock, back to Byrne. Byrne with a cross, no pressure on the keeper, easily claimed by Meslier.
Yeah, I think Newcastle's been a bit slow today, sluggish, haven't they? They've not been at it as such. I know, give Leeds credit, the first 20 minutes particularly, they were very good out, pressing Newcastle everywhere. But the last 10-15 minutes where Newcastle looked like they were taking control of the game, just seem to have come off the pace themselves.
Here is Guimaraes, skips away from the challenge of Forshaw. Guimaraes then has overrun that ball, and just stepping out of defence was Cooper able to dispossess him, and the ball then breaks back midway through the Newcastle United half, where Trippier will keep it in play, and to Cher, and Cher across towards Byrne. They'll be attacking the Gallagate end in the second half. Down the hill as they go back in that direction to Pope, puts his foot through it, clears it long downfield. 9 minutes to go to half-time. Koch climbing all over Wood. Here is Harrison for Leeds United. Harrison looked like he was going to shoot, wriggles his way into the penalty area and then does unleash a left-footed effort, but it's off target. Goal kick, 0-0.
He's got a good left foot, Harrison, over the last few years. He's always done well out wide on that left. Today he's playing sort of an inside left, just behind the striker really. He's got sort of freedom to go and drift around, but he'd be disappointed he didn't hit the target there. He did ever so well to get the space. He
has been linked with Newcastle United in the past, just the one goal though this season, unable to replicate his 10 from last season, which was actually the joint best of his career. Oh, that was a loose header back by Ayling as Wood was looking to pounce. Meslier was alert and alive to the danger, edge of his penalty area to clear away. In the centre circle, Harrison to Nonto, little touch, breaks down, Nonto wins it back for Leeds, threads the ball through, Aronson has made the run, Pope read it very well, and actually came sliding out of his penalty area and got there with his legs. Very alert goalkeeping from Pope.
Yeah, very good position. Newcastle break down the right-hand side, can he keep it in?
Almiron, will he keep it in? Yes, he will. Almiron now wins a corner. It was a good challenge
It's when Leeds lose possession with these attacks they're having. They play some nice play in the midfield. When they get it to the back four near Newcastle, they sort of lose it, and then there's gaps appear everywhere, and anybody's willing and running for Newcastle. Anybody wants to run forward gets in, and now they've got a corner defend which they've struggled with so far in this game.
The light rain continues to fall on Tyneside. 0-0 as we're approaching half-time on BBC Radio 5 Live and the World Service. Newcastle United, corner kick, far side the right. Botman again up from the back. Cher is there. Joe Linton bobbing up and down on the penalty spot. In it comes now, headed out by Strouk. Harrison lays it off. Forshaw breaking out of defence. Turns back towards Ayling, and Ayling has to clear. Harrison's first touch presents it back towards Guimaraes, challenged by Forshaw.
Challenge, there's nothing wrong with it. Oh, look at the Malvers how they get up when they don't get the free kick.
Newcastle win it back with Almiron. Inside to Willock. Breaks back to Joel Linton, cries of shoot, charged down by Adams. Game just starting to open up a little bit now, 7 minutes before half-time. Leeds attack, far side the left, Nonto. Strouk on the overlap if required. Nonto will dart forward. Might break through towards Rodrigo, takes the shot first time, wins a corner as a result.
I've got to say, Leeds are very willing, aren't they, when they pick the ball up. Energy levels are fantastic. The way they want to carry the ball, they want to get at Newcastle. When they lose it, they're everywhere. But they're just lacking quality in that final third. And again, as many teams talk about, have they got a number 9? No.
No. Rodrigo is 9 goals. It's his best return in England. But 19 goals was his ever best return for Valencia about 5 years ago. You'd never, though, say he was prolific during his time at the Mestalla.
Why don't they take a short corner here, look? There's nobody gone out to stop them.
A lot of activity around Pope, as the corner on that left-hand side is swung over and cleared on the volley. Out by Cher, break on for Newcastle United. And it's Cher who now leads that counter-attack, and Cher running forward. Willock is up with him. Adams comes across, shoulder to shoulder. The crowd are appealing for a penalty, but that would never ever be classed as a penalty, surely.
No. I wouldn't even bother looking at it. It's wasted time. Listen, he's dived in, he's run it, he's looked for it, hasn't he? He's run out of legs a little bit and he's looked for it. Sorry, but no.
Just shoulder to shoulder.
He can't give that. Listen, I don't know if VAR's having a look at it or not.
Well, they will as a matter of course, but I would imagine it'll be quickly dismissed.
Give him that.
No. 5 minutes to go to half-time. And it's Craig Pawson who's at Stockley Park, but that would have been quickly dismissed through the dialogue that they have in their communication system with referee Simon Hooper out there. 5 minutes to go to half-time, still 0-0 here. Manchester City, Everton, Maz Faruqi.
City still lead 1-0, but it's getting a bit scrappy. De Bruyne has been booked for a foul on Onana, Patterson for a foul on Grealish. It's disrupted City's rhythm a bit, and the fans are getting a little bit frustrated, but they still lead by 1-0 Manchester City over Everton.
He lost his grip with the throw there, did Strouk, and actually presented it straight to Almiron. Goes out for another Newcastle throw on that right-hand side. Almiron might have just picked up a slight little knock. He's just hobbling a fraction, is the Paraguayan.
They're moaning about Strouk, hasn't it? He threw a ball on which was on the side pitch to slow the game down, so Trippier and them having to go to the referee. I mean, it's not the end of the world, is it?
No.
Wow.
4 minutes to go to half-time. Newcastle United with a throw. Infield from the right-hand side. Goes back towards Cher. Cher lifts it forward. And Newcastle United now with Guimaraes. Chance maybe to spread it out to this left-hand side, left corner of the area. Joel Linton, Byrne steaming on the in the inside of him. Here is Joel Linton. He's done well under pressure. Willock to Guimaraes. Out it goes now to Trippier. Almiron provides the width on that right-hand side. Newcastle threatening 0-0. Almiron, misplaced pass. Rodrigo for Leeds United. Let's go back to Fulham. Mike Williams.
Fulham still leading Southampton here, Ian, by 1-0, but the bottom side, Southampton just had half a chance. Salisu, the defender, up for a corner, got his head to it, but his header just sailed over. Saints need something here. They're staring at a 5th straight Premier League defeat in a row. It's Fulham 1, Southampton 0.
Southampton bottom of the table and certainly not going into the new year in any sort of form whatsoever. Well, not good form at least. A yellow card has just been shown to Kieran Trippier. It's the first of the game.
I don't know why he's moaning. Listen, Nonto's running away from him. He cuts across his lane, yes, but he can get out of the way. He doesn't. He trips him up and he tries to say he's run across the lane. I can't get out of the way. Listen, if he goes on, he's bearing down on goal. It's a yellow card.
And it's the first issued by referee Simon Hooper, and it goes to the Newcastle United captain with 2.5 minutes to go to half-time. Still Newcastle United 0, Leeds United 0. Leeds with a free kick, 15 yards in from the left touchline. Harrison and Forshaw, quite a high line from Newcastle United. It's a flat ball in, hasn't been dealt with, now it has, cleared and clattered by Joe Linton. Out towards Forshaw on that far side. Forshaw plays a short diagonal ball. Nonto to Harrison. Harrison wriggles away from two challenges, doesn't get past a third. Newcastle United really had strength in numbers back there to clear it, and they will do exactly that. We'll go to Bournemouth now. Bournemouth Crystal Palace, Sahel Sahi.
Yeah, still Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2, and in response to that second goal, Gary O'Neill pulled off Philip Billing and he's brought on Shriki Dembele. Still more of the same though. Crystal Palace dominant and they lead Bournemouth by 2-0.
Referee's blown his whistle. It was offside against Wood. It'll be a free kick to Leeds United. Half-time now at Saracens. Sarah Orchard.
Yeah, half-time Saracens 17, Exeter 3, and 3 tries to the league leaders. They last scored the last one in a brilliant line-out move finished by prop Marco Riccioni. Exeter, they've really struggled with the wind and the rain in their faces, and a conversion there by Owen Farrell makes it half-time Saracens 19, Exeter 3.
Nearly half-time, but Newcastle are now leading at Bath 10 points to 7, and it's Gloucester 5, London Irish 3. This is BBC Radio 5 Live. We've got 60 seconds remaining of this first half here at St James's Park, as this is Cock just outside the centre circle. Diagonal ball hit forward towards Ayling. First time ball to the edge of the area. He was looking for the run of Rodrigo, cleared away by Botman for Newcastle United. Up it goes towards the halfway line. Joe Linton on the run, willing to throw, closed down very quickly by Ayling. And the energy levels from Leeds United are matched by that of Jesse Marsh down there in that tiny technical area. He hasn't stopped. He's been like a whirling.
Yeah, he's kicking every ball, isn't he? I mean, he's done about 30 shuttles in that little box on the side of the pitch. But they're away again, Leeds, yeah.
Here is Nonto running forward on the left. Rodrigo and Aronson are up with him. Here is Rodrigo. Rodrigo, first touch, takes it away from himself and gathered then by a sliding poke down at the feet of Rodrigo, as it's just dropped towards Bruno Guimaraes now. And Guimaraes will run away. Hasn't been many clear chances though in this game.
No, set pieces for Newcastle have been their best part of their game today. Corners, free kicks, general play. I think they've looked very sloppy, well off the pace. I've got to give Leeds credit here. They've worked very, very hard without threatening the goal. Let's be honest. They're lacking a number 9, I think, the Leeds, but their energy levels and their work rate's been tremendous.
You would think at some stage the introduction of Callum Wilson for Newcastle United, who's an option on the bench, but just the additional 60 seconds, which we're now into here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Newcastle 0, Leeds 0. Newcastle have a throw on the halfway line. Willock to Guimaraes. Back it goes to Cher, who hits a flat ball forward. Willock was tripped by Ayling, and that was spotted by referee Simon Hooper, and that will be a yellow card to the Leeds United right back.
Well, he knew what he was doing, Ayling, didn't he? He goes over after him, he trips him, then goes to the ground himself. It's as if it's a collision, a little bit like the Trippier one 5 minutes ago, but again, it's a yellow card. I don't know why they argue.
Well, this is Kieran Trippier territory though, isn't it?
It's a great time to score as well. This is going to be the last kick of the first half, I would think. So it's a good distance out.
Trippier's got an excellent record since he joined the club. When he started Premier League games, won 13, drawn 7 and lost just once. And we've seen him score here before. Certainly territory which not too dissimilar to England-Croatia in that semi-final in the Luzhniki.
Yeah. Well, he's definitely got the ability. As you say, the distance is good to get it up and over the wall.
Cher is the other player who's there. Leeds have got everybody back. We're in stoppage time because I'm sure the 60 seconds have now elapsed. And Leeds have got everybody back inside their penalty area. Trippier's placed the ball down. It's fractionally left of centre. And you're about 25 yards out from goal. It's Trippier, right-footed, into the wall. The referee will blow his whistle. There is half-time here at St James's Park. Newcastle United 0, Leeds United 0. Here are the thoughts of Chris Waddle.
Well, high-tempo match. Definitely Leeds have put a lot of work right into it. A little reward at the attacking end where they're going to the Gallagher end. Newcastle, for me, haven't raised the tempo enough, haven't asked enough questions, not enough quality when people have had the ball in good areas. They've lost possession very cheaply. Now I've got to say 0-0 is a very, very fair result.
And not a serious save for either of the two goalkeepers tells its own story. Newcastle United 0, Leeds United 0.
There is still a vulnerability about Leeds, though, isn't there, Chris? Whether it's on the break or on a set piece.
Yeah, definitely on the counter-attack there. The full-backs push on and leave gaps. The two centre-halves are not the most mobile. They don't want to get pulled out to the flanks. Lucky enough, Callum Wilson's not playing, Mark, because he'd have a field day on his counter-attacks because Chris Wood is probably slower than the two centre-halves. But saying that, Newcastle just haven't had that energy, the level of what you expect, a team who's winning a lot of football matches, and they just don't seem to have that sharpness about them, that quality about them. And Leeds they really work hard, Leeds, as a team.
Chris, Ian, thank you. Second half on the way. Earlier, of course, Manchester United won 1-0 at Molineux against Wolves. Marcus Rashford with the only goal of the game. To the blue half of Manchester. Manchester City against Everton. Mas Faruqi.
It's taken until midway through the first half for City to take the lead, but it has been all the home side with the best chances. It's Manchester City 1, Everton 0 at the break. Haaland with several opportunities before he scored. De Bruyne almost setting him up a handful of times, and he floated the ball to the left-hand post, De Bruyne. Grealish very close to getting on the end of it. But it got a bit scrappy towards half-time. De Bruyne, Haaland, Tarkowski and Patterson have all been booked. There was a bit of a flashpoint involving that yellow card for Haaland just before the break, before which John Stones was very close to heading in City's second from a set piece. Silva was earlier booked for diving as well, and that's allowed Everton into the game a little bit more in the latter stages of the first half. But Calvert-Lewin has looked a bit rusty on his return to the Everton side. I think Frank Lampard will be pretty happy, though. Everton trail here at Manchester City by a goal to nil.
He's been involved in a running battle with the Everton centre-halves, hasn't he, Haaland? To the extent, Maz, that at one point I noticed he celebrated winning a free kick with the same joy that he celebrated the goal.
That was my favourite moment of the first half, absolutely, Mark. Yeah, he finally got a free kick in his favour from Andy Madley, and he fist pumped to the City fans behind the goal that City were attacking this first half, celebrating it like it was another goal. And then, there was an interesting tackle and a late challenge from him, then a yellow card. So they have been frustrated by Everton at times, City. Everton with 5 at the back today. It's really congested in that area of the pitch. So I think Pep Guardiola will probably try and switch things up in the second half.
Thank you, Maz. As things stand, Fulham going up to 7th ahead of the tea time game. They lead Southampton at the break. Mike Williams.
Yeah, could be a very happy new year for Marco Silva's side. They lead Southampton, as you say, at the break 1-0 here. A deserved lead as well, it has to be said. Andreas Pereira's deflected shot giving the home side the lead. The Brazilian swung a boot at a corner, edge of the box, connected sweetly, but it did hit James Ward-Prowse and take a pretty big deflection on its way past Bazanu in the Saints goal. But Fulham had earlier had very good chances through Willian and Paulinho as well to give them the lead. The only real chance of note for Southampton came from Che Adams, who beat the offside trap, was one-on-one with Leno, got his shot away, but the big home keeper managed to get a hand to it and get it out for a corner. And as it was, that is really the best that Southampton have had to offer. Nathan Jones has a big team talk here, Mark. He's on his way to losing his 3rd league match in charge of Saints, and that would be a 5th Premier League defeat in a row for Southampton. At the break, it's Fulham 1, Southampton 0.
Crystal Palace have been working on their set pieces over the festive period. Sohail Sahi.
Yeah, and it's working so far. Half-time here, Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2. Patrick Vieira, he'll be delighted with that first half in response to Boxing Day. Both goals from corners, as you just mentioned there, Mark. Bournemouth, they've conceded a league-high 12 from set pieces and 11 of those from the quadrant, both taken by Elise, and the first was so easy. Ayew unmarked, a header from 5 yards out. The second, a training ground routine. Eze on the edge of the area, he stroked it home. Bournemouth are being watched by their new ownership group. I just hope they're still here. Half-time, Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2.
All the goals, all the incidents, match of the day, which is on BBC 2 this evening. From 10 o'clock, we still have full commentary to come of Brighton against Arsenal at 5:30. There is some other football going on today in Scotland and Wales. In Scottish League One, it finished earlier goalless between Alloa and Kelty Hearts. Half-time between Queen of the South and Clyde, and that is goalless as well. In League Two earlier, Dumbarton won by a goal to nil at Albion Rovers. Half-time between Stirling and Stenhousemuir, and Stirling lead by 2-1. They're midway through the second half in the 3 games in the Welsh Premier this afternoon. It's Airbus 0, TNS 7. Airbus are down to 10 men just before half-time in that game, although they were 5-0 down by the time they were reduced to 10 men. They've played 17 games before today in the Welsh Premier, have Airbus. They've lost 16 of them and drawn the other. Flint 0, Connah's Quay 0 and Haverfordwest 0, Pontypridd 1 in the other games in the Welsh Premier. In the Gallagher Premiership Rugby Union at half-time, Bath 7, Newcastle 10, Gloucester 5, London Irish 3 and Saracens 19, Exeter Chiefs 3. In the Championship, Richmond lead London Scottish by 15 points to 8. And in the United Rugby Championship earlier, Benetton won 40 points to 17 at Zebra. They're just into the second half between Sharks and Bulls, and Sharks lead by 30 points to 13. And TNS have just got an 8th at Airbus. Airbus 0, TNS 8 in the Welsh Premier. 4 minutes to 4 o'clock. We'll hear from Marcus Rashford and Julian Lopetegui shortly after Stuart Clarkson.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
World leaders and religious figures have been paying tribute to the former Pope Benedict XVI, who's died aged 95. Italy's Prime Minister, Giorgio Meloni, says he was a giant of faith and reason. King Charles has praised Benedict's commitment to the relationship between the Catholic and Anglican churches. The funeral will take place on Thursday next week. Our correspondent Bethany Bell is in St Peter's Square in Rome.
This is entirely new territory for the Church. Pope Benedict's biographer told us that it will be the first time in the 2,000-year history of the Church that a sitting Pope will preside over the funeral of his successor.
China's leader Xi Jinping says tough challenges lay ahead as the country deals with surging COVID infections. In a New Year's speech, he said Beijing's zero-COVID strategy had been dropped because of what he called an evolving situation. The sudden policy change came after nationwide protests against pandemic restrictions. President Xi called for unity, saying it was normal for people to hold differing opinions.
China is such a big country. Different people will have different demands and different views on the same thing, which is normal. It's necessary to build consensus through communication and consultation.
Meanwhile, here the government has announced that people arriving on flights from China will have to show a negative COVID test before they board the plane. The US, France and India are among those other countries who have already said they'd reintroduce testing for Chinese arrivals. Russia's launched another wave of missile attacks hitting cities across Ukraine in the run-up to the new year. The mayor of Kyiv says one person was killed and 20 injured when several districts were struck. Celebrations have begun to mark the start of 2023. China, Singapore, Malaysia, the latest countries to welcome in the new year. It's about to turn midnight in Hong Kong as well. And a runner from Cumbria has completed his 365th marathon of the year after doing one each day all year. Gary McKee has run more than 9,500 miles and hopes to raise over £1 million for cancer charities.
On BBC iPlayer. This is not a game, it's an opportunity of a lifetime. The world's now open for business. I'm sending you to the magnificent Caribbean island of Antigua.
Oh my God!
One of you will be gone before your postcards get back. The Apprentice. There's no VAR in here. I make the final decision. Starts this Thursday on BBC iPlayer.
This is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman.
Let's go back to the lunchtime game. Marcus Rashford coming off the bench to get the winner for Manchester United in their 1-0 win at Wolves. Left out of the starting 11 by Erik ten Hag for internal disciplinary reasons. He spoke afterwards with Steve Bauer.
Sitting on the bench, did you understand the manager's decision today?
Yeah, 100%. No complaints. For me, it's non-negotiable to be on time for things like team meetings. So yeah, I don't have any complaints really. I'm just pleased that we managed to get the win anyway.
That was the reason, was it?
Yeah.
Oversleeping?
Yeah.
Is that a lesson, even at your stage, at 25, you're learning?
Yeah, definitely. I woke up and fell back to sleep, but like I said, it can happen. But it's important now to just draw a line under it. I don't have any complaints. Don't really want to make a thing out of it when it's not. And definitely winning helps that process. So, you know, we can just move on to the next game now and full concentration on that. And
scoring as well. Did you have a point to prove when you came on at half time today?
I think I always want to score goals. You know, I always want to help the team in that aspect, and just try and be as dangerous as possible, especially when we're in the opposition box. And you know, I'm pleased for the goal today. But like I said, ultimately it's about winning games, and you know, no matter who scores, it's a great feeling when you win games. And games like today, it's massive for the team, because it's not a game that, you know, a couple of years ago we could say that we're going to win.
That was Marcus Rashford. Afterwards, from the other side of things, Julian Lopetegui spoke to Steve Bauer as well.
You know the quality of Marcus Rashford. You knew he was going to come on at some stage. Does he change the dynamic for Manchester United?
Yes, I in the second half I only remember this chance and one other more that he has finished the second goal. He was in handball, yes. But in the end, I think we have had a chance to damage more Manchester United. Maybe in the first half, I have to see again the match, but we have had a lot of situations when we have overload of players, and with the better decision we have, we can damage more. We can damage more the opponent, but in the end, I repeat, I am above all sad for the players, because they deserve more, but we have to continue thinking and believing and working very hard.
That was Wolves boss Julian Lopetegui. Match of the day tonight, 10 o'clock on BBC 2. As things stand, Manchester City are cutting the gap on Arsenal to 2 points. Arsenal are in action, though, at 5:30 at Brighton. Conor McNamara will be your commentator for this one, where we expect, I'm guessing, Conor, Eddie Nketiah to start up front again for Arsenal.
Yeah, you know, it's worked out okay so far, hasn't it? And I think he'll be very keen to play, and needs must, with Gabriel Jesus still being out. Reece Nelson isn't available. Emile Smith-Rowe's coming back. So this is the opportunity for Nketiah. Arsenal, you know, this final Premier League game of 2022, what a year it's been for them, how far they have come over the last 12 months. Brighton are missing a few. Moises Caicedo is suspended. He had started every Premier League game this season before today. Moda's been out for a while. Webster's not available. Danny Welbeck won't play against his old club. And of course, Alexis McAllister, you can't blame him, but he's still off celebrating the World Cup. I just have visions of he's sort of waking up, Alexis McAllister in Buenos Aires, head first down in the sleeping bag, trying to open the zip with his toes. I mean, you know, that's certainly what I would be doing if in those circumstances.
He's not alone. There are a few, aren't there? A few Argentinians that they're still trying to get back or locate after the World Cup. Brighton's programme, actually, they've done a nice programme, haven't they, today for their World Cup players, with McAllister right at the front.
Yeah, I think, look, they've been very proud of the whole thing. They had 8 players at the World Cup, Brighton. I mean, that just shows how far they've come, and they're on the verge of, you know, no matter what happens here, it's going to be the highest position they've ever been in at the turn of a year. This isn't some Premier League stat. This is forever. You know, the best they'd been was back in 1981-82 when they were 9th in the table. That was back when there were 22 teams in the top flight. So, you know, this has been fantastic in a time that could have been turbulent. Graham Potter, who was so popular here, poached by Chelsea. It could have gone the other way, really. Roberto De Zerbi has come in and he's kept the good vibes going, and I think, you know, he's got to be very much credited for that. And Brighton are right on the tails of the European places.
It shouldn't be underestimated, that, should it, Conor? Actually, that, you know, he's managed. Yes, they've had the odd disappointing result, but he's actually kept it on an even keel.
Yes, I think it's credit to the strength of squad. We mentioned the 8 players at the World Cup, the recruitment that had been done, you know, so he's come into a very well-oiled machine. Usually, when a manager comes in, it's because the last guy's been booted and things aren't right and things need to be fixed, and that was different here. But let's not forget, Brighton didn't win any of their first 5 Premier League games under Roberto De Zerbi, but he's settled in great since, and they've won 3 out of the last 4, and I think they're going to give Arsenal a game here. This is a test for Arsenal, and the next 4 Premier League matches Arsenal play are against the 4 teams who've most recently beaten them in the Premier League.
Good start. Thank you very much, Connor. Tony Pulis will be alongside Connor. Full commentary from 5:30. They're back underway at Bournemouth. Have the home side made any changes, Sahel?
No, they haven't made any changes at half-time, Mark. I should say it's Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2, 90 seconds played of the second half. But Gary O'Neill did make a change when Crystal Palace scored the second goal. Philip Billing was hauled off and Shriki Dembele has come on to replace him. Just a stoppage at the moment, a wee injury, I think, to Jordan Ayew. But Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2.
This game's had a little bit of needle at times as well, hasn't it?
It has, especially at kind of midway in the first half when it was 1-0 to Crystal Palace. Bournemouth were not getting on the ball. They were not troubling Crystal Palace. They were frustrated, really. And as I've mentioned a couple of times, the new ownership group is here as well. And they were paraded pre-match. So I think that's added to it as well. And we've had some sweeping rain down here. Even though it's very, very mild here on the south coast, we've had some really awful weather. But Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2, 2 minutes played in the second half. Mark.
So Palace 2 up there. They're about to get back underway at Craven Cottage, where Fulham lead Southampton by a 1-0. Still waiting for the players to come out at the Etihad, where Manchester City through Erling Haaland lead Everton by a 0. By the way, there have been games in La Liga today as well, and you may remember Mateo Lahoz, the Spanish referee at the World Cup, who was truly awful in that game between Argentina and the Netherlands when he gave out 17 yellow cards. Well, he's been back in action today in the game between Barcelona and Espanyol, which finished 1-1. In the course of that game, he gave out 14 bookings and 3 red cards, one of which he actually overturned. So as ESPN have tweeted, at least he's consistent. Teams are on the way back out at St James's Park. Goalless at the break between Newcastle and Leeds. Here are Chris Waddle and Ian Dennis.
Thanks, Mark, and I can think that Leeds United are going to be making a change as well, because as Kieran Trippier leads out Newcastle United in their black and white striped shirts and black shorts, Leeds United have had Marc Roca, their Spanish midfielder, who's been warming up intensively throughout the half-time interval, and the player he's going to replace is that of Adam Forshaw. So Adam Forshaw, who on Boxing Day made his first Premier League start since April, back-to-back starts in the Premier League. The 31-year-old makes way for Roca. Fresh legs and a lot of intensity to add to that Leeds United midfield as they take to the field in their lemon yellow shirts and white shorts. So Meslier in goal, Ayling, Cooper, Koch and Strauch, Aronson, Adams and Roca, Harrison, Nonto and Rodrigo. And for Newcastle United, Pope's in goal, Trippier, Cher, Botman and Byrne, Willock, Guimaraes, Sean Longstaff, Almiron, Wood and Joel Linton. So Chris Waddle, a game of few chances. The match resumes. A crowd of 52,211. The majority of them will be hoping for a goal to keep them on the coattails of Arsenal and Manchester City. As they attack the Gallagate end, playing from left to right as we look. Eddie Howe, I'm sure, will be hoping for a little bit more of an end product, Chris.
Yeah, I think set pieces has been the best opportunity way of scoring for Newcastle. First half, and they've got a free kick near the corner flag, which Trippier's going to take on this right-hand side. So it's a good opportunity early in the second half. As you say, Leeds make one change. I thought Forshaw was doing all right, actually. I wonder if he's got a bit of an injury.
Well, he's the player who's come off, and Roca is on. Jesse Marsh had made 3 changes from the side that lost to Manchester City, as Trippier will take this free kick for Newcastle United, right down by the corner flag on the right-hand side. Strikes it across now. Out it goes towards Cher, who turns and fires it over from the far side of the penalty area and out for a goal kick. Still 0-0.
He did everything right, didn't he? Great first touch. Goes hit it with his left. The defender's back. Then go to the ground. He comes back onto his right and he hits it high into the Gallagher end. Great chance.
6 straight wins in the Premier League. They last won 7 in the days of Kevin Keegan, 1996, and in fact the 7th victory was a day that certainly will live long in the memory, as they beat Manchester United by 5-0. That was raining that particular day in October. Remember the Philippe Albert chip?
Yep.
Alan Shearer, Les Ferdinand, Ginola was also on the score sheet. 1996. They're certainly being made to work very, very hard if they are to eke out a 7th straight win in the Premier League. However, they are nearing 9 hours without conceding a goal here at St James's Park, as Joel Linton gets himself involved, and then player has gone down on the far side. Rocker, he's gone down holding his face. Not too sure that there was any contact between Joel Linton.
No, I think it's that can I get him booked or sent off? Look, he's got up now, look, and now he's having a moan. He's going back down again. I mean, I don't know what the fuss is all about. I just get on with it. Referee, I don't think the referee's left the centre circle yet.
No.
Why does he go over and sort it out?
The thing is, though, now, because he's gone down holding his face, as a matter of course, VAR would have to check to see if there was any violent conduct there, which would fall in the hands of Craig Pawson. But it's certainly an unnecessary halt to proceedings. Joel Linton now getting a talking to from the bald-headed official down on the halfway line. Don't think it stopped raining throughout since kick-off. Manchester City, Maz Farouki.
Still 1-0 to City in the early stage of the second half, but it's all City. Everton barely with a touch of the ball at the start of the second half, as De Bruyne just feeds in a corner from the left, which is cleared by Everton, but all of Everton's players back in their half defending at the moment. Manchester City 1, Everton 0.
Thanks, Maz. Play back underway. Leeds United with a free kick, hit long by Koch, headed away by Byrne. Leeds playing from right to left as we look, where their supporters are situated right at the top of the Leeds' end, back towards Meslier, puts his foot through that, held up a little bit actually in the wind, I think, there, as it goes out of play for a throw-in to Newcastle United. Back to Fulham, Mike Williams.
Williams just flashed one across the face of goal. There wasn't a Fulham leg on the end of it, and then Pereira on a second attempt from Fulham as well, just hit the side netting. Fulham looking for a second here. They still lead Southampton by 1-0.
Very stop-start nature here. It's to the second half at St James's Park with another free kick. It means we can go to Bournemouth. Sahel Sahi.
Yeah, still Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2. That's just made me chuckle when Mark Williams said Williams just flashed a shot wide. Dembele just feeded Solanke, and Solanke's effort was palmed away by Guaita at the near post. Better start from Bournemouth in this second half. Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2.
Cooper hits the free kick long. Stretching there was Rodrigo, picked up by Pope at the front end of his penalty area. In the Rugby Saracens, the last we heard, we had the advantage against Exeter. Sarah Orchard.
Yeah, and that's right, the league leaders Saracens extending their lead in this second half. Is now Saracens 25, Exeter 3. A couple of penalties from Owen Farrell, and Exeter, they're just really struggling despite having the wind and rain behind them in this second half. It's Saracens 25, Exeter 3.
Newcastle United now with Almiron, just inside his own half, over the halfway line. Forward ball towards Trippier. Trippier on the run, looking towards Longstaff. Back out to Trippier, delivers a first-time cross from the right, gathered in by Meslier.
I've got to say, I know it's early second half, but I'd give it another 5 minutes if at that, and I'd say to Callum Wilson, look, can you give us half an hour, 35 minutes, because they just don't know that they're going to score. I'd even look at St Maximum, who might just make something happen for you on that left-hand side if you bring him on. Not getting anything from Almiron or Jolin today, so he's got to look to change it.
Ball hit long by Scher, guided back by the header from Koch to his goalkeeper Meslier. Overarm ball out from the Leeds United keeper, and Ayling unable to keep the ball in play. Bath are back in front against Newcastle in the rugby. That's 14-13, and it remains Gloucester 5, London Irish 3. Leeds United with Aronson to Rodrigo, right side of the penalty area towards the byline, and he was looking for the cutback, and it was saved by Pope diving forward at his near post.
I must say Rodrigo's very lively as a player, but he's not an out-and-out number 9, so you know, he's drifted way there. He's got nobody to support him when he breaks away on his own.
Here is Almiron on the halfway line, and it's going to be a Newcastle United throw. I think the referee has indicated in between the respective dugouts. In fact, no, it's going to be a free kick, although Nonto thinks that Trippier should go a little bit further back. Wet and cold, and at the minute goalless so far at St James's Park. Trippier waits to take it. Once again, another very high line from the Leeds United defence, offering as much protection as they can to Meslier. In it goes now, downward header, opportunity, good save by the goalkeeper Meslier to keep out Wood inside the penalty area. The downward header, Wood was in on goal. Newcastle win it back. Trippier.
That's a piece of how easy's that. How easy Wood's got to score there. I mean, he's trying to lift to the goalie, but he's just got to roll it. He doesn't need to lift it.
Here is Guimaraes. Trippier certainly, the way that Guimaraes goes to ground, gets another free kick for Newcastle United. Just looking to try and break this Leeds United resistance for a side that's unbeaten in 13 in all competitions since Liverpool away at the end of August. Trippier again to take this free kick. Certainly hasn't been a lack of atmosphere inside St James's Park this afternoon. Trippier waits to take it. In it comes now, arcing its way through, right down the throat of Meslier, caught by the Leeds keeper. Goal at Fulham, Mike Williams.
Level up for Southampton. Fulham 1, Southampton 1. From nowhere, the visitors are level. And is that a lifeline for Nathan Jones? James Ward-Prowse, a textbook free kick from the Saints' number 8. Absolutely sailed past Leno into the Fulham goal to stun the home crowd here. Ward-Prowse was credited with the Fulham goal earlier as an own goal. No doubt about this one. He's taking this one, and it's brought Southampton level here on their travels. It's Fulham 1, Southampton 1. What a peach from Ward-Prowse.
Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2. Manchester City still lead Everton by 1-0. Earlier, Manchester United beat Wolverhampton Wanderers by 1-0. We've got commentary of Brighton Arsenal to come at 5:30 here on 5 Live. The referee has stopped play, much to the annoyance of the Newcastle United players and supporters. Doesn't look like it's a head injury.
It's bad refereeing again. Listen, nobody's saying put the ball out. Newcastle played on. Leeds players weren't shouting anything. It wasn't a head injury.
No. Simon Hooper now facing the wrath of the Newcastle United supporters. Going to be a drop ball, an uncontested drop ball, 10 minutes into the second half. Once again, though, Newcastle United unable to get in any sort of a rhythm from this Leeds United side that continues to work hard. And Harrison once more closes down Trippier. Strout, forward ball. Rodrigo out towards Nonto. Always a threat on the counter-attack. Nonto holds on to the ball without really moving, then gives it away. Almiron. Now it's with Cher being hassled by Harrison. And then challenged, no foul. Well, I say there was no foul, but the referee deemed that there was. Every time that there's been a contact, referee Simon Hooper, whether he got the whistle for as a Christmas gift, he's been whistle happy.
It's ridiculous.
Now it's with Harrison over the halfway line for Leeds United, looking for the run of Rodrigo. His arcing ball will force Rodrigo out wide on that right hand side. Rodrigo now cuts inside. Rodrigo with the shot. Great save by Pope. Comfortable height, but he still had to deal with it, diving away towards his right hand side. Certainly the best effort by far, and it was Rodrigo for Leeds United.
Yeah, he's not an out-and-out centre-forward. He's probably a second striker of anything, but he did ever so well. Keeps it in on that right-hand side, comes inside, drops shoulder, wraps his left foot round it. It's a comfortable save for Hope.
Newcastle United are urged on, as you might be able to hear for yourselves, as Byrne makes headway on that left-hand side. Comes back to Guimaraes. Guimaraes goes square. Longstaff back to Botman. Every outfield player now is in the Leeds United half. It's still 0-0 on BBC Radio 5 Live on the World Service. Almiron goes close towards the near post, and Koch prevents it from reaching Wood behind for a corner kick.
Well, the crowd's trying to get Newcastle going, aren't they? And they have improved slightly second half. That was another decent chance, but I just wonder how long Eddie Howe will wait before he tries and changes this with a couple of players.
Trippier to take the corner kick for Newcastle United. Right hand side, Meslier got a hand on that, and then it was helped further clear by Ayling. And Leeds United try and break, but Guimaraes will tidy up. Newcastle United will get that decision from referee Simon Hooper. It's another free kick. Leeds will prevent them from taking it quickly.
I wonder how far Simon Hooper's rang by the end of the game.
You've not been impressed, have you?
No.
It's a free kick to Newcastle United, left-hand side, just a few yards in from the touchline. We're approaching the hour mark here on 5 Live. Attacking the Gallagate end. Once again, Trippier to take it. Mellier's come a long way, gets something on it. Only as far as Longstaff, plays the ball out. Almiron, Byrne pops up on the right, plays it back. Ayling slips inside the penalty area. Almiron turns, darts his way in, caught, fouled by Strout. Outside the area, it'll be a clear yellow card for Strout. And there it is.
Yeah, he's got that right. Simon Hooper, the referee, he definitely got that one right. And this is a good opportunity again to put that ball in the danger area.
I don't know how far we're back. We're back behind the director's box here at St James's Park today. But the rain sweeping in is even starting to reach us here, and we're that far back. On a miserable afternoon at St James's Park, weather-wise, 0-0. Trippier waits, Byrne there. Botman and Cher. Wood also is a natural target. Joel Linton as well too. Trippier goes towards the far post, headed out by Leeds United. Guimaraes will collect it. Guimaraes held up by Aronson, helped out by Adams. The tenacious 2. Newcastle though get a throw taken quickly. Leeds United still continuing to work so hard.
Got deeper and deeper though, you know, first half they were suspect to the counter-attack. Now about 15 yards outside the 18-yard box.
Headed away by Nonto, it'll trickle out of play, but Trippier will keep it actually in play and lifts it forward for Almiron to chase. Strout with a back pass, closed down quickly was Meslier. The Newcastle pressure is growing. Quick throw taken on the right-hand side. 2 balls on the pitch once more. The referee will have to stop play until it's knocked out, and it goes out of play for a throw. And only now is that second ball touched out of play. Newcastle with another quick throw picked up by Meslier. Let's check in at the Etihad, shall we? Maz Farouki watching Manchester City against Everton.
City still lead by 1-0, but the biggest cheer of the second half has been for the technical support staff. We had a pause here of about 5-6 minutes. The assistant referee on the far side, some issues with his communication equipment, finally fixed. The players doing training exercises on the pitch to try and keep warm as the game was suspended. We're back underway. City still lead by 1-0.
And elsewhere, Fulham 1, Southampton 1, Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2. Commentary to come of Brighton, Arsenal here on 5 Live. Joel Linton coming forward. Joel Linton running to the edge of the area, stopped by Cooper. Comes out to Guimaraes. Guimaraes now finds Almiron. Almiron outside the area, onto his left foot, plays a reverse ball. Cross comes in from the right-hand side from Longstaff and turned behind. Listen to the Geordie roar as they get a corner kick.
Leeds are hanging on now. They've run out of steam. I don't know why he's made any substitutions. He's made one at half-time. He needs to get some fresh legs on, a bit of energy.
Well, he's in deep consultation, is Jesse Marsh, looking at his options, looking down the line as his substitutes warm up to his left-hand side. But our eyes are trained to the right. We're in front of the Gallagate end. Trippier with a corner kick. It's an outswing, a downward header by Cher, and Meslier keeps it out, just threw himself down to the ground towards his right, and no wonder he get a few pats on the back of the head. Just an instant reflex save to keep out Cher. Corner taken quickly, but the flag's up on this near side.
No, I mean, Gumi has took a quick corner. I don't know what he's thinking. He's rolled a trip, and he's actually rolling along the byline towards him. He's rolled it out of play. They've got the pressure on here, Leeds, and he's just signalled they're going to make a substitution, Leeds United, and rightly so. They are running out of legs.
Leeds United, they're at home to West Ham United on Wednesday. Next weekend they're away at Cardiff City in the the FA Cup before taking on Aston Villa on Friday the 13th. 3 straight defeats in all competitions and coming under pressure, and Callum Wilson is also going to be coming on for Newcastle United. Click is the player who'll be coming on for Leeds to offer a fresh pair of legs in that midfield. Newcastle United, though, are attacking. Joel Linton on the left-hand side, infield. Opportunity! Spurned. It was taken away from the run of Wood by Longstaff, and left-footed, he couldn't keep it down. The thing is, Wood running in on goal would have had a better opportunity.
A terrific run, wasn't it, on that left-hand side, and Longstaff, as you say, takes it away from him, but at least hit the target, make the goalie work. It's all Newcastle now. Leeds are making changes, but I think they need 2 or 3 players on, because they are struggling at the minute. Leg work.
Harrison is the player to come off for Leeds United. Mateusz Klich, the Polish international, comes on for him. Leeds United then have made that one change. Newcastle United, it's going to be Chris Wood who comes off for Callum Wilson to come on. And also it's going to be Alan Saint-Maximin who comes on for Joe Willock. There's been another goal at Manchester City, Masparuki.
It's come out of nowhere, an equaliser for Everton. A wonderful strike from Damari Gray after a run at pace down the left-hand side. He wasn't closed down, he had time to get the shot in. It was a brilliant one from about 18 yards out. Everton have levelled. Manchester City 1, Everton 1.
So a real turn up there at the Etihad. 1-1. Fulham 1, Southampton 1, Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2, 0-0 here at St James's Park. So Saint-Maximin and Wilson are on. The firepower and the trickery, and that was a challenge from Roca on Guimaraes, and he's shown yellow. That's the 3rd Leeds United player to be booked, Chris Waddle.
You know, this is what we've been waiting for at Newcastle United. Before the game, first half we didn't see any of this high tempo energy, moving the ball quick, people running with the football, causing problems. It was all about set pieces, but second half they've come to life, and Leeds are just hanging on.
Still 0-0. Headed away on that far side for Leeds United. Ball then hit forward by Cher. Ayling heads it away. Comes towards Roca. Gets a foot into the challenge. Runs out of play for a Newcastle throw. We'll go to Bournemouth now. Bournemouth Crystal Palace. An update with Sahel Sahi.
Crystal Palace 2, Ian, 21 minutes to play. Bournemouth competing in this second half, but Crystal Palace, they're happy to defend deep, counter-attack and contain, and they're controlling this game. Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2.
And what about on the banks of the Thames, Mike Williams?
Well, that Southampton equaliser from James Ward-Prowse and has breathed new life into Saints. I think Nathan Jones thinks his side can go on and win this one. I've just been watching him waving and gesticulating wildly on the touchline. He's just made a change, brought Joe Aribo off, replaced by Stuart Armstrong. For his part, Marco Silva has responded by making a double sub. Kearney and James are on for Declan Dover-Reid and Harrison Reed. This is set up for a grandstand finish. It is Fulham 1, Southampton 1.
65 minutes played here as Adams, under hardly any of a challenge, gives away a free kick. I notice now Saint-Maximin, since he's come on, has gone to the left. Joel Linton's gone in a more central area behind Callum Wilson, Chris.
Yeah, they've moved him inside to play alongside Wilson. It's all Newcastle, let's be honest. So whatever they want to do, they obviously think they can get more bodies in the box, because they are dominating the second half.
Trippier wants more to take the free kick. We're approaching the midway point of the second half. You're listening to 5 Live in the World Service from the BBC, and it's still goalless here at St James's Park. Trippier's complaining that Nonto's not back the full 10 yards. He's now told to retreat. 2 steps back, 2 steps forward.
Oh, he's getting a yellow.
He's going to get a yellow card.
Yeah.
What a needless yellow card that was.
Exactly. Exactly.
So he's the 4th Leeds player to be booked. He'd retreated and then he just crept back forward again.
He's got to watch himself here.
Jesse Marsh complaining to the 4th official. Trippier, curling free kick, Meslier, comfortable take as it dropped into his arms in his
poor free kick,
orange goalkeeping outfit.
That's two he's done where he's just come off his line, the keeper, no pressure, easy catches. They've got to think of something, they've got to be better deliveries than that by Trippier.
Underarm throw out, cleared away by Koch, header in field by Rodrigo, but there's no one there. It's just going to come straight back at Leeds United at the moment. As now it's with Guimaraes, who spreads the ball with Almiron. Nice touch to take him away from Strout. Cuts back on the inside. Almiron pulls it back, and then Longstaff arriving, couldn't keep it down. Right-footed, places it over the bar.
That was a brilliant play by Almiron down his right-hand side. Mears hits a diagonal ball to him. First touch, brilliant. Gets the ball in. Looks like he's going to cross it. Checks back, rolls it into the path of Longstaff, who's approaching just inside the 18-yard line. And then high into the Gallagher end. But Newcastle, surely this goal's coming.
Newcastle United, who unbeaten here at St James's Park in 11 matches since Liverpool at the end of April. In fact, since Eddie Howe's appointment, only Liverpool and Manchester City have actually won here in the Premier League against Eddie Howe. Really has transformed the place. Leeds are going to be making a double change. We're going to be seeing Somerville and Christensen, who's going to be coming on. I would imagine Christensen would just replace Ayling like for like. And Somerville for Gnonto, you would think.
Definitely.
But we will wait and see. With just over 20 minutes remaining. The only goalless game in the Premier League this afternoon. Byrne, far side the left in front of the east stand. Short diagonal ball. Guimaraes able to turn. Out it goes towards Trippier. On the half volley, lifts it high and long. Koch loses out to Wilson, controls the ball, lays it off to Almiron, runs away off the legs of Click. Out of play it goes for a Newcastle United throw. Newcastle United knocking at the door. Here comes the double change.
Substitution for Leeds.
And as expected, Somerville for Wilfred Gnonto, the Italian international, only making his 6th appearance here today for Leeds since he was signed from Zurich. Whilst the change is actually happening, we'll go around the ground, starting at the Etihad with Mats Faruqi.
Another good chance for City, but the Everton fans to my right bouncing. That tech issue that Paul's played disrupted City's rhythm, has galvanised Everton. That equaliser, their only attempt, their only shot on target, Everton. It's still 1-1, and Frank Lampard has made a double substitution here as well. Neil Maupay and Seamus Coleman have come on. Calvert-Lewin and Patterson have gone off.
Thank you, Maz. Christensen has replaced Ayling, Somerville as for Gnonto, so we called it with those two changes with 20 minutes remaining. And play is about to get underway. We'll try and get around the other grounds when we can, as it's still 0-0. 1-1 at the Etihad, 1-1 at Craven Cottage. Palace still lead at Bournemouth by 2-0. Byrne now over on that far side, the left. Up towards Wilson it goes. Cushion header forward by Koch. Helped further clear by Adams. And then played by Scher out towards Almiron. Leeds can't get hold of the ball at the moment. Almiron goes down the line. Longstaff makes that run, right-hand side of the penalty area. Longstaff holds it up. Trippier keeps it in play, level the penalty box. Now towards Guimaraes. Challenge, referee's played the advantage. No advantage to be played. He now changed his mind. And Simon Hooper gives a free kick for that foul. Click on Guimaraes. And this is a position for Trippier to cause a potential problem with the set piece.
His last two deliveries have not been great, but this is a better angle, and the other ones that I've got to say have been probably 20 yards further back, but this is a great angle. Leeds are obviously going to go to the 18-yard line or near it, and you've got a big gap between the keeper and the back 7-8 there at the minute, but yeah, there's a nice space for him to put that bit of pace in.
So just 2 or 3 yards in from the touchline on this right-hand side. And Leeds United have a wall of lemon yellow on the edge of their own penalty area. Trippier, 2, 3, 4 steps back. Just one in the wall, trying to guard that near post. Trippier now wraps it in, headed up rather than away by Strauch. And Meslier has carried that ball over the dead ball line for a corner kick. The pressure remains on Leeds United.
Yeah, I mean, the goalkeeper's come for everything he can possibly come for, but if they can just keep the ball away from the keeper, there's a goal there for Newcastle, because Leeds just can't defend set pieces.
And there's been no out ball for Leeds as well. They don't look a threat at all now, even on the counter-attack. It's whether they can contain Newcastle United for the next 18 minutes on the balance of play that we've seen so far. 0-0. Newcastle United. Corner kick. Far side the left. Trippier to take it. Header from Joel Linton, caught by Meslier. We'll find out what's happening at Fulham now. Fulham, Southampton, Mike Williams.
Oh, another chance for Fulham here to retake the lead. It was Anthony Robinson, the fullback, on the pullback at the byline. Bazanu, the Southampton keeper, flapped at it under pressure from Mitrovic. It fell to Kenny Tete, who blazed this shot high and wide. But the home side knocking at the door with 15 minutes to go here in the driving rain. It remains Fulham 1, Southampton 1.
Bournemouth Crystal Palace, Sahel side.
Yeah, 14 minutes to play here, Ian. Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2, and Crystal Palace, they're heading towards their second away win of the season. They're very, very comfortable. It's really flat and quiet here at the Vitality. Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2.
Still goalless at St James's Park. Newcastle with a throw on the right hand side. Trippier to Guimaraes, rolls it along the ground to his fellow Brazilian Joel Linton, out towards Sam Maximan. Hasn't had much of the ball since he came on as a substitute. Joel Linton now collects it. He loses out though to Rocker in the midfield. Aronson now is bundled over. No foul, says the referee. Free kick. Simon Hooper, and it's instead a throw on that far side. Commentary to come. We'll have the team news when we can from the Amex. Brighton against Arsenal. Commentary with Tony Pulis and Conor McNamara at 5:30. Tomorrow we'll see in the new year with plenty of live football, which will continue throughout the week here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Tottenham Aston Villa at 2, Nottingham Forest Chelsea at 4:30. Monday we have the Old Firm at 12:30 as a free kick goes against the home side. Tuesday night Arsenal Newcastle, Wednesday Crystal Palace Tottenham, Thursday Chelsea Manchester City, and next weekend it's FA Cup third round weekend, and 4 commentaries on the Saturday alone. BBC Sounds and BBC Radio 5 Live will be, hopefully, the perfect combination to keep you abreast of everything coming over the next few days or so. With 16 minutes remaining, Cooper lifts the ball long for Leeds United. Feels as if our eyes and our necks have been trained towards the right from the majority of this second half.
All Newcastle, and let's be honest, they've had enough chances to put this game to bed, and give Leeds credit. They're hanging in, they're digging in. The goalkeeper's caught the crosses when he's had to come and get them. But Leeds, this is what I say when I said I'm going to plan B. They come out the blocks 100 mile an hour, run out of steam, and it looks like they hang on. It's like, what do we do the last 20 minutes because we've got no legs left?
Yeah. Well, it would be a precious point for Leeds United, certainly. Only Nottingham Forest with 2 have picked up fewer points than Leeds on their travels. But this is Wilson holding the ball up. Joel Linton snapping into the challenge was Adams. It was a real tigerish challenge, that, from the American international. Guimaraes flicks the ball back. Cher comes onto it, plays it behind Trippier. But every outfield player is actually in the Leeds United half, and we have a quarter of an hour remaining of normal time. It's still 0-0. Eddie Howe was praising the home support in his programme notes as Sam Maximan is away. Inside to Guimaraes. Guimaraes to Almiron, right corner of the area, skips over one challenge, comes in field, goes out towards Byrne. Byrne, first time layoff. Botman back out towards Byrne. Down the line he goes to Joel Linton. Sam Maximan shows himself. Joel Linton will go it alone, cuts inside. Joel Linton can't get a sight of goal. Back it goes to Guimaraes, rides one challenge, comes past another. Forced away from goal, tries to chip it forward. Strauch heads it away. Leeds United will not buckle, but it keeps coming back at them. This is the problem for Leeds. It's one-way traffic. Guimaraes plays it out towards Almiron. Offside. Let's get the team news from the Amex. Brighton against Arsenal. Conor McNamara.
And Brighton here make 2 changes for the team that beat Southampton on Boxing Day. Tariq Lamptey comes in at right back, Veltman's on the bench, and in midfield there's a first start in the league for Brighton for Billy Gilmore. He replaces the suspended Moise Caicedo. For Arsenal, they beat West Ham on Boxing Day. 1 change, Zinchenko replaces Tierney at left back.
I hope you've got plenty of green tea to keep Mr. Pulis in check, Conor.
Literally what he's having here beside me.
Yeah. 5:30. Conor and Tony will bring you commentary after Sports Report, and at the minute Arsenal have got an opportunity to go further clear because their 2 closest challenges in the Premier League are in danger of dropping points. Newcastle 0-0 here. Manchester City still being held by Everton 1-1 at the Etihad. Fulham 1, Southampton 1, Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2. What about the rugby, Sarah Orchard?
Saracens 30, Exeter 3. It's a bonus point try for the league leaders. An out the back door pass by Owen Farrell that totally foxed the visitors. Scored by Alex Lewington. Saracens 30, Exeter 3. Just 5 minutes to play.
Under 13 minutes remaining here of normal time. Sam Maximan on that left touchline, attacking the Gallagate end. Goes past Leeds, 2 players. Crosses the ball. Actually deceives Meslier. It drops over his right shoulder at his near post and across the face of goal. Meslier was completely bamboozled. Almiron looking for the return from Joel Linton. Aronson though breaks it up. Rocker now for the counter-attack. They've got a break on here of Leeds. Rodrigo, it's Click who's trying to stay on line. Aronson going with him. Rodrigo forces Click out wide and he will not keep the ball in play. A better ball, they had a break on.
Oh, what a chance. Rodrigo, could he have took it on himself a little bit more? He's overhit the pass when Click just can't catch it, can he? So it's that's a rare occasion we've seen Leeds actually going into the Newcastle half.
Certainly was. Aside from the Rodrigo curling effort, 11 minutes into the second period, they've threatened very little in the second period. Bath 21, Newcastle 16, still Gloucester 5, London Irish 3. 5 Live Sports Report on its way at 5 o'clock with Mark Chapman. Just over 10 minutes remaining. Trippier, forward ball, hit long, one bounce through towards Meslier. And Meslier in no real hurry to get rid of this ball for Leeds United. They'll have come here with high hopes. Newcastle United looking to end the year, a year of positivity with the progress that they've made on the pitch. However, they've been held by this Leeds United side. And it goes out of play for a throw that Trippier quickly takes to Guimaraes. Again, Adams making his presence felt. Combative midfielder that he is. But Newcastle United are leaving it late. Trippier looking for the run of Sean Longstaff. Back heels the ball to Wilson, finds him 2 inside the penalty area. Wilson crowded out by 4 Leeds United players. Longstaff delivers the cross. Sam Maximan, first touch takes him outside the penalty area. Almiron central area. Byrne left corner of the box. Back to Almiron. Almiron tries to fire over the cross, blocked by Rocker. Byrne slides into the challenge and gets a corner kick for his efforts too.
Newcastle have been knocking on the door all the second half. But Leeds have stood very, very strong. But this is their worst problem. Corners defending them. They've struggled all game.
In the swirling and persistent light rain, Trippier hurriedly runs across towards the left-hand side. Leeds have everybody back in their own penalty area, still goalless. In it comes that corner. Meslier, good high take inside his 6-yard box, and then cradles the ball as he drops to the floor, all in orange with under 10 minutes remaining.
Trippier's set pieces today have been very poor, haven't they? I mean, you think the free kicks, Mellier's come and caught, corners, not hit the right players. And it's really, that's first half, that was their strength.
Ball lifted up towards Almiron. Cooper heads it away before losing his balance. Strout clears it away. It's a Leeds United side that in the calendar year of 2022 has conceded a total of 72 goals, the most in the Premier League era for Leeds United, that is. They did concede 92 once in 1959. However, they could end it with a clean sheet here tonight, or this afternoon, to give them a valuable point in their fight against relegation. And they're going to make a change, and it's going to be Joe Gelhardt who's going to be coming on, and it's Rodrigo who's coming off. He's been a willing runner, but at times has lacked real support.
I felt sorry for him here, to be fair. He's really worked his socks off, but he's had no support, no service.
So Gelhardt comes on for Rodrigo. Just over 8 minutes of normal time remaining. Fractionally a little bit further behind us with that stoppage in the second half at the Etihad. Manchester City, Everton, Masfarouki.
We're about 4 minutes behind you, Ian. Still Manchester City 1, Everton 1. Everton holding on. Pickford forced into a really good save in the last couple of seconds. De Bruyne and Mahrez coming close, but Everton are holding on at the moment. 1-1 here.
Newcastle attacking. Trippier, last touch off Trippier. It'll be a goal kick to Fulham then. Fulham Southampton, Mike Williams.
And Fulham knocking at the door here, Ian, but you still can't call this one. The home side have dominated possession in the last 10 minutes or so, but Southampton are defending resolutely. Saying that, though, they have just conceded a corner. Tom Kearney to take it on the far side. Fulham 1, Southampton 1.
What about Bournemouth Crystal Palace? Sahel Sahi. Can't get a Sohail just yet, but Crystal Palace, after back-to-back defeats, leading by 2-0. Commentary to come Brighton, Arsenal after Sports Report. Leeds United supporters are making themselves heard away towards our left-hand side. Melly has put that goal kick right out of play for a Newcastle throw that Trippier is going to take. We have about 6 minutes of normal time remaining here at St James's Park. Now it's with Botman. Out it goes towards Byrne. Short of the halfway line, Joe Linton. Sam Maximin hasn't really made much of an impact since he's come on yet, has he?
No, he's not picked it up and had a dribble or anything, has he? He's just passed it off every time he's got it.
There's going to be another change. Jacob Murphy's going to be coming on for Newcastle United as they get a throw on this right-hand side that Trippier once again will take, but he has to go back towards Cher. Crossfield ball from Cher to Sam Maximin. Here he is now. Lovely first control. Sam Maximin pulls it back. Joel Linton with a shot, left-footed, couldn't keep it down. Doesn't hit the target.
No, that was probably the Joe Linton of 2-3 seasons previous, wasn't it? Let's be honest, he never looked like he was ever going to score. He's played very well this season for Newcastle, I've got to say, but he'd be disappointed with that. And it's Almiron coming off.
Well, Almiron 9 goals in his last 14 Premier League games, as many as he had in his first 112 in the competition. Hasn't found the back of the net to take him into double figures for the season, and he's replaced by Jacob Murphy. We can now go to Bournemouth. Sahel Sahi.
Yeah, still Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2. 2 minutes to play here. Crystal Palace just could have added a third on the counter-attack. Edouard and Zaha both denied by some good goalkeeping from Mark Travers. Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2.
We'll bring you as much live reaction as we can in Sports Report from the handful of games in the Premier League with Mark Chapman from 5 o'clock before we go to the Amex. Then it's 6:06 with Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage. Still 0-0 here as Cooper's forward ball repelled by the head of Cher. Loose ball, knocked forward. Adams scrapping for it, tangling for it. Real battler. And he'll get a free kick in his favour as well, just over the halfway line with 5 minutes remaining.
I mean, click there, the free kick happens, the referee blows, click and gets the ball and kicks it right down the lane to the linesman. Referee does nothing about it. Leeds will be absolutely delighted if they come away with a point. I've got to say, you know, I do fear for Leeds this season.
Yeah.
What I saw, they play high energy, they can't keep that up every week. And to play for an hour in the Premier League is not enough. You need to play 90 minutes.
Well, in the start of play, they're only 2 points clear of Wolverhampton Wanderers. Beaten at home by Manchester United as Cooper goes long with a free kick, headed away by Byrne. Bouncing ball that Guimaraes has got into an aerial challenge with Rocker. Sam Maximin tries to run it away on the left-hand side. He's stopped. Now Leeds can attack with Aronson on the right-hand side. Aronson cuts inside. Aronson looking for the run of Click ahead of him. And he was pulled back there.
It was.
And it will be a direct free kick to Leeds United.
Yeah, Dan Byrne.
Just outside the area.
Dan Byrne pulls him back, doesn't he? He comes inside. Nice bit of skill, change of pace. Dan Byrne grabs him, pulls him to the ground. And tell you what, another yard, that's a pen.
Yeah. Very, very close to the penalty area. And this certainly is an opportunity. Is it for the left foot of Gelhardt?
Gelhardt's just picked that ball up. There's only one guy taking this, you can see.
Rocker is also there. And Leeds United, with under 4 minutes of normal time, have an opportunity to maybe strike a late winner here at St James's Park. After this, we're going to Craven Cottage, where I can tell you it's no longer Fulham 1, Southampton 1. But Gelhardt certainly placed it down with real purpose. He's got a beauty of a left foot as Gelhardt. Aronson is the other player is there. Rocker's walked away. Free kick, direct free kick for Leeds United. 3 minutes of normal time remain. Aronson touches to Gelhardt, goes for power, blocked by the wall, comes out to Somerville, chips it back out towards that far side to Aronson, stays out wide right. Still 0-0. And Newcastle United get the ball and get it clear. Goal then at Craven Cottage, Mike Williams.
Is that a winner for Fulham? The home side potentially won it at the death. It is Fulham 2, Southampton 1. A Pereira corner, flick on from Tete at the near post from his head onto the head of Paulinho, who just nodded it past Bazanu in the Southampton goal to make it Fulham 2, Southampton 1.
We have under 3 minutes remaining. Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2, Manchester City 1, Everton 1. Is the latest score at the Etihad. Commentary to come of Brighton against Arsenal at 5:30. Newcastle, though, still drawing 0-0 here with Leeds United. So Maximan away from Christensen. Tries to come then on the inside of Adams. The two of them have both doubled up on him and got back goal side to hold him. As now Joel Linton nutmegs Gelhardt. Now to Trippier. Forward ball by Trippier. Wasted ball caught by Meslier.
It's not been Kieran Trippier's day today. His deliveries has been very poor, set pieces and in general play.
Meslier then will take his time. How much stoppage time will be interesting from the fourth official, not just at this game but also at the Etihad. James Mainwaring is certainly referee down below, Simon Hooper, as the ball is hit by Byrne, looking for the run of Wilson. Oh, he's got a free kick. I honestly do not know what Cocker's done wrong there.
No, he's focused on the ball and Wilson gets maybe his fraction before if he did, but he has to throw in maybe, but not a free kick. The referee for me, he's not kept up with the play. He's too far away from making decisions.
Simon Hooper, the referee, is given this free kick then, which Newcastle United are going to take on that left-hand side, about 10 yards in from the touchline.
Can Trippier put one on the money? Deliveries have been very poor today.
Joe Linton, Wilson, Botman and Scher, they're all up from the back. Needs a good delivery. We're inside the last 60 seconds. It remains 0-0. Trippier on the far side, the left, attacking the Gallagate end. Curls it in now. Headed away by Christensen. Collected by Sam Maximan. Back out to Trippier. They combine now. Sam Maximan plays the ball inside. Guimaraes, he goes square to Joel Linton. He passes the ball now towards this near side, the right, and it was Scher, was cleared away by Adams. Saracens Exeter, Sarah Orchard.
Full time, it's Saracens 35, Exeter 3, 5 tries for Saracens, who finished the season 10 points clear at the top of the table. All over, Saracens victory.
Thank you, Sarah. Finding out how much added on time there will be down below. And it's going to be 4 minutes of added on time. Had this been the World Cup, we'd have probably had another 15 minutes.
Oh, easy.
4 minutes. Scher goes long, looking for the run of Murphy. Back peddling. Strout heads the ball away. Leeds get that decision.
Yeah, Newcastle players are getting a bit frustrated, aren't they? And the Leeds player goes down, cramped, Cooper.
Full time now at Bournemouth, Sahel Sahi.
Yeah, it's ended Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2. Both goals in the first half, both from corners. Ayew with a header and then Eze with a well-worked corner kick from the training ground. Convincing from Crystal Palace, poor from Bournemouth. Full time, Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2.
Reaction to come in Sports Report. Have Newcastle United done enough for you, Chris Waddle?
No, not really. I've seen them play better this season. They've had opportunities and they've had a lot of possession, which they've wasted, I think, I've got to say. So, I mean, Leeds, I give them credit, they've dug in, they've got a tremendous work ethic. They really do graft and give everything they've got. They've lacked quality, especially second half, and Newcastle haven't capitalised on it. And so you've got to say a pat on the back of Leeds and Newcastle, for me at the minute, 2 points they've lost.
But Leeds United will have gained a valuable point, that is for sure, in their fight to stave off relegation under Jesse Marsh. We have about 2.5 minutes of added on time remaining. Some of the supporters here at St James's Park are drifting towards the exit. It remains Manchester City 1, Everton 1. That will be a crucial point for Frank Lampard's side as Leeds give the ball away. This is Sean Longstaff. Longstaff got options, so many options, it comes back to him. Now it's towards Guimaraes, and then just crowded out by the Leeds players. Guimaraes goes down under the challenge of Adams. Guimaraes and Adams square up to each other. Forehead to forehead. Words being exchanged between the two. But there just didn't appear to be any composure there from Newcastle United.
No, nothing at all there for... I mean, Newcastle have got a little bit impatient and they've tried to rush things the last 10 minutes. They've had a lot of time in good areas and possession on the ball, but they've rushed it in that final 18-yard box. And I mean, Leeds have just grafted and dug in and cleared it and tackled and did everything. You suppose he'll be very proud of them, the Leeds manager. But Newcastle go away thinking, how we not won this game? We should beat Leeds United today.
What a pity. Wilson has just pushed over Meslier. Again, there were two balls on the pitch, but Wilson, with two hands, has pushed over Meslier and he's shown a yellow card. Certainly, at times, the Leeds United players have wound up Newcastle. They have frustrated them, but they're well within their rights to do exactly that.
I mean, why Shea ran from the back four up to the goalkeeper?
Tempers are fraying. All of a sudden, it's starting to spark again. And now we've got two sets of players who are having to separate each other. Was that because of Meslier and Shea? Oh, it was Guimaraes who was involved.
Guimaraes got involved, and they're kicking the ball away now. Look, Leeds. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Whilst all this is happening, there's a penalty at Fulham. Mike Williams.
Alexander Mitrovic has the ball on the spot. He's taking his paces back after Dan James was bundled over in the box. He got caught in a sandwich between Lianco and Bazanu, the Southampton goalkeeper. Here comes Mitrovic, and Bazanu has saved it for Southampton. So Fulham denied the chance of a third here in injury time. It's still Fulham 2, Southampton 1.
Meslier is shown a yellow card after all of that. And well, we've got no clue as to how much time now the referee will add on, because the minimum of 4 minutes have now elapsed, which we're into, and it's still 0-0. It remains Manchester City 1, Everton 1. Fulham 2, Southampton 1. The result earlier, Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2. I'll tell you what Leeds haven't lacked today. They have certainly not lacked fight and heart.
And that's going to help them, because I think I've got to say, in football terms, they'll struggle football-wise. But if you've got a good change room, you've got 100% effort, you've got a fair chance. But I just think the referees lost this game today, unfortunately. And I mean, the last 4 or 5 minutes has been comical. I mean, comical. What is the problem now?
I would imagine that he's having some sort of conversation with VAR. Plays back underway, and we're into the 5th minute of added on time. Still 0-0. Sports Report on its way. Ball clattered downfield by Shea, reel up and under. Longstaff, handball, and Leeds are in no real hurry to take it. I mean, there are a number of clubs from Southampton to Leeds. That's what, 6 clubs separated by 3 points at the start of play today. So this point could be absolutely pivotal. Just as much as Eddie Howe cites the turning point at Ellen Road as a catalyst for Newcastle's season last season, when they were second bottom. The fighting spirit shown by Leeds United, and they have certainly shown a lot of resilience here today, might just be enough for them. As again, there's been things said after the ball has been played. That was Trippier and Click. Free kick taken quickly. 6 minutes of added on time, and we now enter the 7th. Saint-Maximin. And there the blows the final whistle.
Oh, no way.
And Newcastle United and the boos are more to do with the refereeing performance rather than that of his team of Eddie Howe, but they're unable to extend their winning run to 7. They do go unbeaten in 14 in all competitions, but they may well feel it's 2 points drop. But for Leeds United, very much a valuable point gain.
Yeah, great spirit they've shown there. They've really dug in, they've worked for each other, which will help them a lot in the season. Newcastle, All right, they've got a point. There'll be 2 dropped for them in their eyes. They should have won that second half. First half was quite even. Leeds ran out of steam and it was one-way traffic second half. Newcastle will be very disappointed. I've got to say, the referee spoiled the game, and it's a shame. But Newcastle, that's definitely points dropped today, because Leeds have not really done anything for an hour, the last hour of that football match.
Well, Leeds United, for the first time in their history, have avoided defeat now on 4 visits to St James's Park. After it's finished here, Newcastle United 0, Leeds United 0.
It's a very strange timekeeping towards the end of that game. We'll bring you reaction during Sports Report. Goalless at St James's Park.